Hi, good morning, everyone in the UK, and good afternoon. Hi, yeah, we're back again for another live session. A great morning and an afternoon from Student Connect. Today we have someone special from UWE Bristol, a great university. We have over here 𝐁𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐥, who's an international recruitment advisor, and he's based out in Bangladesh. He will be joining us today. It's going to be an interesting session because he's been a former international student as well. He's studied from the same university, has made great progress in his career. So today the format of the session is slightly different. Tausif is going to give a short kind of a presentation to you on some of the unique selling points of UWE Bristol, why you should consider the university, and a general background about the courses and some of its awards and accolades. Good morning, and also we have Priya here, my usual partner here for Facebook Live. I will let you both introduce yourself, and we'll straight jump into the presentation.
So, hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Tausif. As Hassan has mentioned, I am working as the International Recruitment Advisor for UWE Bristol. Of course, I have my other colleague, Barrister Moshe Ramanovi, with us as well. He will be joining shortly with the Q&A session, which will be going on in a short while. So today I'm here to focus on some of the key aspects of UWE Bristol. Of course, before I start any further and before I go any further, we all know the entire world is hit by the pandemic. I'm very grateful that, and I'm hopeful that all of your family and friends are keeping well and staying safe. So, of course, since the pandemic, we all know that international movement from one country to another has become very difficult. However, even in that phase, we at UWE Bristol, we've been able to admit, alhamdulillah, over 200 students in the past academic year. And we've been very welcoming. Of course, when we will go into the presentation, you will get to know a bit further about how friendly and how the university assists an international student. So yeah, more on that in a bit. But as far as, of course, the first and the most concerning thing about traveling and our education abroad is concerned, I would like to assure once again that even though the condition in Bangladesh now, it doesn't seem that, we're hoping for the best, doesn't seem that lucrative. However, things in the UK have started to become much better. Of course, when the pandemic hit and the death rates were increasing and everything was becoming a mess, I think when we look at the condition of the UK now, I think it's in a much better position. So even though domestically we are in a hurdle, internationally things are soothing down to a large extent. So I'll carry on with best wishes to all of you and your families. And I'll get into the presentation right now. Priya, can you ensure whether the presentation is live or not? Yeah, there we go.
We're just going to make it full screen.
Yeah, let me just. So everyone can see my screen. Is that correct?
Yes, we could see you, sir.
So as you can see, that the presentation is of course going to be given by me, Tausif Ahmed, and Avi Rahman, who is the country manager for Bangladesh and Mauritius. And now we move into the slides. So the first slide, of course, when we are thinking about education in the UK, the primary factor that we have in our mind is how close we are to London. So good news is that we are only 90 minutes away from London. I think that is possible either with bus, and if you're taking private transport, it's much quicker than the 90 minutes which have been allocated. And of course, we have train services to London and from Bristol to London, and airport services from Bristol to London as well. So moving on to the next slide. So Bristol, when I first heard about Bristol, of course, I looked into, any student and every student should look into the characteristics of the city. So as far as Bristol is concerned, I am very proud to share with you that Bristol had been voted the best city to live in the UK. It was also noted and pointed out as the green capital of the UK and Europe at 13 points. So as you can see, I've just told, best place to live according to the Sunday Times in 2017. For job opportunities, I'll get onto that in a bit. further down in my presentation. And of course, from the Independent, it has been noted as one of the best cities to visit in 2019. You can see when I'm going through the slides, this is called the Suspension Bridge. It is one of the oldest suspension bridges in the world, and you can see how beautiful it is. So yeah, you get a better glimpse of that over here. That's a castle. We've all been there. If we are alumni from Bristol, Mr. Avi, me, Priya, of course, we've all been here, and it's all the time. It's amazing. This is a church, of course, another scenic beauty. Bristol is very popular for graffiti art, and you can see that if you're considering a master's in arts or a bachelor's in arts, you can see already get a vibe of how vibrant the city is. So these are basically buildings on the top of which they've done graffiti. It's absolutely amazing. Even though it seems very small in the picture, imagine that this is probably a 6 or 7 story building, and they've been able to do the graffiti with, I mean, this is flawless. So yeah. Moving on, of course, this is the harbour side, the famous harbour side. At one point in the annals of history, this was one of the most important ports for the UK. Of course, it is still being used today. Not this one, but of course, it has been shifted to another side. This is more like a tourist attraction these days. So moving on, of course, once again, we're talking about Bristol City, how vibrant it is. So you can get a vibe of how vibrant it actually is. Look at the beautiful colors over there. And this is the harbour side once again. And you can walk all the way to the last limits of where you can see, you can like go and walk. This is the balloon festival, the famous balloon festival. Of course, I didn't get the opportunity to visit this, but of course, this is one of the attractions. It happens once annually, and it is considered to be. And people from all around the world, they come and join this balloon festival. Moving on. So, apart from the city, of course, when we think about our studies abroad, we have to consider many other factors. So the city is one of them, of course, and then we think about what credentials we're going to acquire after we complete the course, and who is going to employ us. So you can see some of the renowned companies that are based in Bristol. Of course, Rolls-Royce is there as well. Some of the biggest companies, Boeing as well, over there. So. And when we're talking about companies, of course, it is also important to mention that while you will be doing your respective course at UW Bristol, there will be events hosted by UW Bristol itself, where some of the biggest employers will come, and it will be more like an open day where you can share your CV directly with people who have been appointed by the company to come and represent their companies at UW Bristol. So you can basically hand in your CV, and if someone finds you perfect for the job, there you go. It should be an easy way out for you. So yeah, speaking about companies, there are more than 60,000 companies in Bristol, 5th highest number in the UK. I mean, when we're talking about placement or job opportunities, of course, we're looking for part-time work opportunities as well, because while we're doing our course, we get a work permit of 20 hours per week. So students like me who always wanted to be independent, what we used to do is we used to find out opportunities to where we can work part-time. I still remember that I used to work at a pub 9 months straight at Bristol. It was called the Old Post Office. It was based in Fish Ponds, so I worked there for 9 months. So Bristol being a student city dominated by 2 major public universities, Bristol University and UW Bristol, half of the population in Bristol is actually student-based. And many people find Bristol at times, once you will reach there, you will see that many people are traveling to London to do their office because it's so convenient for them. So majority of employers look for students as their employees because apart from being a major student-based city, it's a tourist attraction as well. How does it benefit working for you in Bristol? Of course, it enhances your CV. Any job that you do in abroad, it is a job that, and it is a job. You need to like do good abroad to do like to have to have the confidence to do any job, and they consider any job to be a very good job. So yeah, it's not like our domestic culture. So it's much better anywhere else in the world. Of course, let's move on to something a bit more. So yeah, this is a page that is of prime importance when we're talking about UWB Bristol. So it is a gold-rated university that is the highest accreditation that you can get as a public university from the UK government. It is also one of the top 30 universities in the UK. It is ranked, according to the Guardian League table, as 21st. So last year it was 28th, and we are making leaps every year. So when I was enrolled for my course in 2018, it was ranked 37th, and then it moved to 28th, and last year it passed another 7 places, topped another 7 places to come and reach 21st. And then we are ranked 2nd for student satisfaction by the National Student Survey, once again, a government survey. So this means that international students like us, when we reach the UK and we reach the campus, let's say, for example, in UWB Bristol, it is much easier for us, and the floor is laid open for you as international students to reach there, and you can get any and every assistance that you need. That is why, and that is one of the prime reasons why a university is ranked so well according to the student survey, because the student satisfaction, unless and until we've been able to devote the proper service to our students, they would never have been ranked 2nd for student satisfaction. Moving on to the next slide. So we have next slide. Sorry. So we have 3 campuses, major campuses in Bristol. So one is the Frenshire campus, the other one is Glenside, and we also have a campus in the city centre as well. So these are the mere glimpses of how the entire campus is like surrounded by nature. So this is the campus that I'm talking about. This is where we as alumni studied. This is where you will be able to go and fulfill your dreams. So this is the one on the left, the extreme left. That is the Bristol Business and Law School. We have spent around £55 million to develop this facility. Of course, any and every facility that you see over here is state of the art. This is the new engineering building. We've spent 35 to 40 million pounds to develop the engineering building. And of course, those are some of the facilities which are related to sciences. Moving on to the next slide, best supported facilities. So yeah, once again, to reiterate on what I said just earlier, I think UWB Bristol, whatever facilities that they have, and when we're talking about facilities, we're not only talking about the buildings, we're talking about the library, we're talking about accommodation, we're talking about people who we can attend and who can attend us. Of course, we have a well-being service, we have a hospital at the campus itself, so any type of facilities that you need, you name it, we have it. As I was saying, 55 million investment in the Faculty of Business and Law. So they basically invested all of this money to create this marvel of infrastructure, as you can see, laid in front of you. This is what it looks like in the evening. There is a video, but I would rather just move on to the slide since we have limited amount of time. This is what it looks like inside the Business and Law School. So these are the stairs that we used to take to go to our Harvard lecture theaters and to attend our classes. So this is what we call the Harvard lecture theater. If any law students are there, they would know. So we practice our advocacy sessions, and there have been instances where the Bristol Magistrates Court had to be shifted to UWB Bristol for a certain period of time because the renovation work was going on in the Bristol Magistrates Court. So the court was being conducted from our facility, which is a very proud thing for as a law student to reflect upon, because you can imagine that the entire legal system was inside the campus for a certain period of time. Moving on to the next slide. So this is what we call the Harvard Lecture Theatre. So the teacher normally is over there and he's interacting face-to-face with each and every student. Moving on to the next slide. So these are some of the facilities that you will get to see once you are enrolled as a student of UW Bristol. So this is the robotics. I guess I'm not very good. I mean, yeah. So yeah, these are the robotics. This is from the robotics faculty, of course. If you're interested in MSc robotics or an undergrad degree on robotics, this is a glimpse of the library, a very short glimpse of the library, and then you get a better glimpse. So we have a 5-storied library, which is largest in the Southwest, and the 5th floor is dedicated only for law students. Of course, anyone else can get inside the 5th floor and study as well, but we have a library which is 5 stories high. This is the Students' Union. This is where basically after you're done with the classes, you'll go and you'll have your munchies or your lunch or your dinner or your breakfast. So this is within the Students' Union, there are a number of clubs encrypted therein. So for example, we have the Bangladeshi Society. Many of the events that are being held by Bangladeshi Society are carried out over here. And when I'm talking about the Bangladeshi Society, I want to mention that we have a very strong Bangladesh, we have a very strong population of Bangladeshi people in Bristol itself. So, I mean, wherever you go, if you know people, you will see that there will be Bangladeshis around, which is a good thing. Because, of course, as an international student, once you reach over there, you do need proper guidance, unless and until you've moved a lot around the world and you know how things work. So this is the Students' Union, and then we move on to the sports center. So we have a dedicated soccer field, we have a dedicated cricket field as well. We have many football fields all around the campus. They are literally like you can go and play over there. You don't have to pay a single penny. This is an insight into the gym that we have. Of course, you can play basketball. You can go on and work out. So yeah, we have a gym just near to the accommodation. And if you move on to the next slide. So this is the website campus. So this is where the medical students go. So if you are looking for a medical course, your faculty or your entire campus is going to look like this, which is beautiful. Of course, it's not as big as the French campus, but of course, it's still surrounded by beautiful nature. So yeah, as I was speaking before, we have like a health and well-being service. If you ever face any difficulty, you can go and check in and they'll check you out as to whether you have any problems or not in relation to your physique or your health. And then we have the Bar Ashton campus, which is a smaller campus, of course. So these are some of the slides that we normally accord with. And then the city campus consists of 3 buildings. So yeah. And then let's talk about accommodation as well. So just a second, sorry. Yeah, so we have a wide range of accommodation options. So in French campus, we can almost accommodate over 20,000 students. So you can see the range of accommodation that you have in the French campus. Of course, most of our students, apart from the medical students, they do tend to do their classes at the French campus. So it is widely recommended that students who are going to do their courses at the French campus to check the accommodation services and to apply for their accommodation as soon as possible, because we're running out of time. So if you are already a student who's applied at UW Bristol and you hold an offer, a conditional offer or an unconditional offer, I would recommend that you go for applying to the UE accommodation as soon as possible. This is how it looks inside. Of course, it looks like this, but I can promise you it looks much better when you have a look at it firsthand. So this is the Walsford Park. This is where Priya used to live. She used to have an apartment over here. And then so you have a range of options for your room as well. So just facilities and facilities. So you have ensuite rooms. You have just the rooms in Carroll Court. This is the room where you share your kitchen, but you have your washroom and your room all to yourself. So you can share, you can choose to share, or you can choose to just have it all by yourself. Um, this is the student village. Once again, this is a better version of the cattle court, but you still have to share the kitchen, but you have your own washroom and you have your own room to yourself for quiet and peaceful ambience. And then we have the city center campuses, which are, I would say, which are going to be, I mean, better and at the same time bad for you. Why? Because you'll have to travel. Of course, traveling doesn't take that long, because from the center till Franchise, it should take normally 12 to 15 minutes for you to travel with bus. However, if you have the luxury to stay near your campus, I think you should go and do that, because it gives you a better vibe that you're always surrounded by your university. This is one of the other city center campuses as well, accommodation as well. This is the Phoenix Fort. I've been here before. It's absolutely amazing. And then we come to another very important flight. So as I was telling before, that we are ranked second in the National Student Survey for student satisfaction. So these are some of the reasons why we are ranked so high. So let's say, for example, when you're doing your classes and you don't understand something that your teacher has told you in the class, what can you do? You can get out of the class, you can set up a meeting with the teacher, and you can sit and you can have a conversation with the teacher as to what you didn't understand and how they can assist you further. So these are some of the reasons, and they have been labeled in gold, of course, because we are a gold-rated university. They have been labeled in gold to make you understand why we have such facilities that allow us to be ranked so high in the National Student Survey. Tuition fees, a very popular place where I'm expecting a lot of questions from Mr. Ravi later on. So for undergrad courses, the range is 13.5 to 14.5. For postgraduate courses, ranging from 12 to 15.5. So the most expensive course that we have at this point in time is the MBA, which is £15,750. This is how the course, the tuition fee structure look like. And then if you have a look into the accommodation costs, you can see that yearly you have to pay somewhere around £5,000 to £8,000, let's say, £5,000 to £8,000. But of course, if you're living apart from the accommodation services, you can pay much less, and you can save a lot of money. So yeah, I think that is the end of the. Oh, that was abrupt. I thought I would go on for another hour. So but of course we don't have that much time. I hope all of you got the insight what the university is all about. So I'll now give the floor to Mizan and Priya to know if there are any questions, and Mr. Avi will join.
Thank you, Chelsea. That was a great presentation. Now, this is interesting. You both were classmates, and now you're colleagues?
Yes, we were. Yes, we were.
Yes. We have some.
That's awesome. So you both studied your law courses. I bet it was. I mean, Chelsea, you must be seeing these pictures every time. But I saw there's a lot of smiles and a lot of memories passing Priya's face, and she could relate to your going to different places. And I think university is a great time for many people. I think it's one of those experiences that truly shapes friendship and those educational experiences that you will have. Now, I know that you both are alumni of UW Bristol. If you just as a gesture, I mean, can you both share what was your experience as an international student in this particular university and how it has shaped your career so far? Either one of you or both of you could have a chance.
I think I'll let Priya go on first, and then, of course, since she has had she's been back within a very short time, so I think she can go first, and then I'll go ahead with my experiences as well.
Priya, tell us, what was it like being in UW Bristol? What did you enjoy the most?
Yeah, so the best thing about UWI Bristol was the campus itself. Just like you mentioned, as he was going through the slides and everything, it was all coming back. Where we had the classes, where we used to go for lunch and everything. So the most special thing about the UWI itself is the campus. Like everything is by just a short distance. Be it your home, be it a place to just hang out with your friends and make connections. And the most important thing was that the university and the teachers were really friendly. I think me and Tausif, we can both vouch for that. Because we were in the beginning, I was struggling a bit, and since he had done a course on, he did his LLM a year before me, so he was very familiar with the teachers. But I never really faced any kind of problems, and they are 100% in giving their students support, especially even to international students. I think the university is very prompt to reply, and the whole experience was amazing. And
Great.
I think I met a lot of special people, and one of them is Mr. Tausif. He's sitting here, right in front of me. Yes. So how
Thank you
is
so
your
much.
experience?
Thank you so much. So my experience, of course, dates back from 2016 when I went for my master's. Yeah, of course, when I was there, I remember just this one hurdle that I faced in relation to accommodation. So basically, when I went over there, I didn't book any accommodation in advance. And it's a funny story, of course. And when I reached over there, I still remember that I didn't have a place to live at. So I did the cleverest thing that came in my mind. I just went to the accommodation services and I told them, if you don't give me accommodation right now, I'll just take the next flight and I'll go home. I don't like this city. Because I was just like roaming around in the city, and because it was somewhere around September, the very early in September, so the international students still didn't start coming in. So it was very difficult for me as an international student. Of course, there was a dilemma in relation to I didn't know anyone in the UK. So many of the students who will be applying, they have people already in the UK and they have everything set up. So for me, it was like, I'm there, I don't know anyone, and I need to get something sorted out in relation to accommodation. And of course, then when I made the query to the accommodation team, they set me up an ensuite room that very evening, and that at that very point in time. So I had all my luggages together, and I just said, I just need a place to stay. So give me a place to stay. So yeah, that was one of the experiences where, apart from that, I think from 2016 till 2019, it was a very blissful experience. It was an experience like no other, because when we think about the universities in Bangladesh, you don't really get a university life. You're like trapped inside four walls, and there are people who are coming in and they're giving you lectures, and if you can grasp them, it's okay. But if you're thinking about making a counter question, you need to be very, very careful, because that is how, unfortunately, the education sector is in Bangladesh. But of course,
Yeah.
we can only make this better. So yeah.
I think you continuously engaged in challenging conversations, and the classroom gets into this huge, nice debate, a safe space, I would say, to debate different topics, and then that expand on that knowledge and challenge the existing, misconceptions or the opinions that they have. That is what best in the UK in a degree. And I think the entire experience of being an international student in a foreign country, like the UK, I mean, you would make friends from different nationalities, from people from different backgrounds, people who are different to your background, and I think that is very important as well, particularly as well. Your opinions to meet in a safe space like an international classroom, and I think that is fantastic that you brought this up. And another point that you brought about the accommodation, UK universities are really good with student support. I have noticed this. I worked in UK higher education and I worked at different universities. The support system is unlike no other countries that I've seen. The welfare of students is good at first. And I also want to bring to the fact that Student Connect can help you find that accommodation and help you zero down on that. Because we are a UK and a London-based company, even on your arrival, you're always here. There's me, there's my boss Zain, there's Antara, there's Rajan. So we are a team already in the UK who will be able to support you in finding those accommodation if you do have an issue. But like Tausif said,
And
always
any
plan
students who are
your
applying for UWI accommodation, they can come to TAC office as well. If they're staying in Bangladesh right now, I can help them out with their choices. I can give them my personal insights as well, which which they prefer, I think, and I think for them it will be really helpful. So all the UAE students just visit us at Dhaka, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, if we when we think about it in this way, I think I mean, Student Connect having a team already set up in the UK, it is a very good opportunity for even the Bangladeshi students who will be traveling to the UK. If you need any type of support, you know that there are some people in the UK already there to help you. Which to be honest, many students from before, let's say when I went or Mr. Avi went, there were no people to assist. So the fact that you have this comfort, of course, it gives you a very big privilege. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think we are always a hands-on support. Everything. Ever since I've joined Student Connect, everything we try to do revolves around that student experience. It's just more than business for us. In particularly, we have team members who look after international student welfare. That means if you have any problems after you enroll, we're always here until you graduate, even after graduation support. I think unlike many other consultancies, who only they are enrollment journey until the enrollment journey, after which thing that disappear on you. We are kind of different in that ways that we are part of the entire journey, because I think we promote educational support rights, and I think to that extent we are invested in students' life. I am aware of the time. I know is he around, Joseph? Is he going to come and say hello to us, and then we get on a bit more discussion about?
I think Mr. Avi will join like in 2 minutes, if that's fine.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure.
Please.
I wanted to touch base on something else as well. You spoke about UW Bristol. Of course, there are some questions coming up too in terms of this. Oh, hi. There he is. There's the man.
Hello.
Hi, all. Hi.
So this is a very special person.
Share the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we're welcoming now.
Wonderful presentation. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
So this is a very special person to me. This is Barrister Avi Rahman. He has been quite a mentor throughout my journey in the law career, and now he's here with us today. So welcome, Mr. Thought.
Very much for your sweet words, Priya, as always.
Yeah, we have 7 minutes too in the first half.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we have many questions from the students, and I'll be happy to take questions
Yes.
from the students.
As well, and also we will touch base towards the end a little bit about the application process, some entry requirements, and a few other things that is not covered in those questions. So I'll start with the first one. So the first question is, will the internal English test be available for Japanese?
Yes, it is, because right at this moment, especially in the pandemic, what we have been doing, we had our own English language testing system, and that was traditionally that was being held face to face, but now, especially for the pandemic, we had to go online. So we are conducting English tests, which is an alternative to IELTS. So I know many students are facing difficulties to book their exam for IELTS or any other secured English language testing system. And considering those, we have introduced this online English testing system, which is we call UWE, English Placement Test, which we conduct every Wednesday. So that being conducted every week. For that, there is a special procedure for registration. So first of all, it is conditioned on your offer. So this applicant must have an offer from ERI to be able to sit for such tests. And secondly, there is a separate registration process for the test. For that, the student needs to register themselves by uploading their passports and other necessary information, which is again an online procedure, which is quite easy. So the answer to the question is yes, we do have alternative English language testing system.
And this is great. I think Priya had some information on this too previously. Priya, I thought you mentioned to me in our conversation that you had some information on internal English tests. What is that?
Yes. So what we are doing is, since there's test once every week, So we're helping the students to prep for the exams. We are providing them free classes. So the classes are going to be held by me. I'm going to be taking the classes. I'm going to be helping them to shape them to have a better understanding how the test is going to happen. We can provide them with few knowledge and few insights as well if they want how the procedure is going to be taken and what they need to do, what are the sections there are. So mostly with students, they're fearful. They don't know how to sit for the test. They don't know the whole procedure, or maybe they're confused. So what we do is we provide them the free classes and we make them understand the whole process, and we also help them with their English as well, because few of them comes up and I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the students, even if they're sitting for IELTS or anything, especially for students who are lacking this kind of classes because of the whole pandemic, everything is closed down. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and we have been blessed to have them both to give us the opportunity to conduct this as well.
Great. Wow.
That's actually great, especially when you have this additional support that the student might need in preparing for their tests, because the tests, I would just like to add one thing. So the test is very similar to IELTS, and it needs a thorough preparation. And I'm very glad to know that the Student Connect is actually aiding the student with those additional supports. Thank you, Priya.
That's good. As it's very stressful for most international students, and particularly from South Asian region. And I think it's fantastic that you have the internal English test, and it's free, I believe. Am I right in saying this is free?
Yes, absolutely.
This is free. Yeah, it is free. That is great. So you don't have to spend money. Whereas IELTS is about $100 or even a little bit more than that. Yeah, go on, Priya.
Yeah, and also I think I believe the students, once they pass their speaking test, they don't have to sit for any other interviews before they request for their CAS as well. So it's all in one. I think yeah. So I believe if you could shed some light on it, since they don't have to go for another interview before issuing their CAS. Yes, absolutely. So once they sit for their speaking test, I believe that they will be done through that. Their English requirement will be satisfied, and they don't need to appear for another interview.
I'd just like to add a point here, Priya. So the speaking test that we conduct is not entirely a credibility test, to clarify. But yes, the students are encouraged to have an in-depth research on the university, on the course, on the city, because these are the sort of questions that we traditionally have been asking on top of the speaking tests, because we'd like to know more about the students, and this gives us a wonderful opportunity to know in detail of the individual circumstances, individual mindsets, and etc. So yes, Priya, you're right to say that. Yeah, we although we do not have that sort of credibility interview that is on process path, but we do ask questions about the students' individual circumstances, and we try to we encourage the student to get an in-depth knowledge and to do in-depth and do an intensive research on the university and the courses.
Great. I think that's important. And there's a follow-up question that, I mean, is there a penalty for failing? Can they appear the test again? Is there a maximum number of times?
As you can see, the test is it's absolutely we are providing the student with this chance to take this test, which comes with no cost whatsoever. So and that is why, and the students can only sit for such tests once, unfortunately. So in that case, the students are highly recommended to have intensive preparation before they appear for such tests, so that they pass. And honestly speaking, the criteria for a postgraduate entry, if you say, it's only 6.5 for most of the courses. So I don't think this is that difficult to achieve. A 6.5 is not that difficult to achieve at all.
Yeah,
so if
and I think like anything, you need preparation. and you need to prepare and work hard for it like anything else. So I'm sure we make sure our students do prepare, and I hope the classes test and their teaching background will certainly.
Yes.
What is the time frame of the test? So, for example, if I took a test today, how long would it be before I hear from the university or on an update on our results?
So if you're asking about the duration of the course, it's gonna be almost 4 hours. Let's say almost 4 hours. So we usually the test, better because we start this test at 1 p.m. on every Wednesday, and it goes on for almost 4 hours.
All right.
And the speaking will be conducted on a different day, not on that same day, because it can be really, really tiring for the students to participate in a speaking test after this long period of writing tests.
And with the speaking dates, just to clarify, I know there's another question around here. A person is waiting for their speaking test. Is there a time gap? So, for example,
2 days.
So once the student has given the test, let's say for example the student gives the test on Wednesday. Normally the speaking tests are run on a Monday or a Tuesday, because of course Saturday and Sunday are weekends in the UK, so we cannot hold the test there. But normally, for example, the students who sat for the test last Wednesday, they're going to have their speaking tests tomorrow, so Tuesday.
All right. Okay, that's fine. So that is something good to know, and we will also be supporting. Go on, Priya, please.
Yeah, so since last year we saw that the students who only passed their reading, listening, and writing, they could go for their speaking test. Are you conducting all of the students in the same way, or you are taking?
Yes. I mean, the students need to pass provisionally. So by provisionally, I mean that they need to have the minimum scores required in the listening, reading, and writing sections for them to qualify and move on to the speaking test. So yeah.
Okay, great. So this another question, of course, the mammoth of a question that often gets all the attention for international students is scholarship. Let's talk about scholarship. I went to UW Bristol website. I was lost. There were so many scholarships for so many students. Amazing stuff. But can we give some simplistic explanation on different types of scholarships for our Bangladeshi students, and in fact for our South Asian students?
Yeah, of course. So, as you have mentioned, that we have different scholarships that are given to the international students. So, especially in the postgraduate level. So those are there. So if you browse our site, you'll see there are like Vice Chancellor Scholarship, Millennium Scholarships. There are also different sort of scholarship. But for the students, I would like to inform that we do not have any bursary, automatic bursary. So many universities, they do have automatic bursary. Let's say a waiver offered for a particular nation, which we do not have. But what we have alternatively, we have some funding for the students, and we want our students to win those funds, and in a way that we encourage them and we invite them to participate in different competitions that we hold for scholarships. So I'll give you an example. So last month we were conducting a scholarship on essay writing, and students had to write 3,000 words essay, particularly on a particular topic, and we gave away 16 scholarships to the best 16 with £1,000 waiver, and then the next one will be a video making competition. There are different sorts of competitions, so different types of competitions that we hold, but there is no automatic bursary, and that's very unfortunate for many students, but this is how it has been.
Okay.
And I think the best thing about me is there are actually fun projects to do.
Yeah.
They can take a video, there's picture competition as well, there's small essay competition as well, so there are different types of scholarships. So I think this opens a really big door for students who are just not into writing essays or anything, so they can get their creative mind as well, and they can secure the scholarships.
I think it is also a good opportunity for students to show their credentials as well, because when you get automatic scholarships, what have you done apart from just dropping an application? So you need to win it and you need to earn it. So the 16 students who have passed just the last scholarship and they won it, when we had sent essays to our team, they gave us such a good feedback, and it made us proud that we could shortlist out of 100 essays, we could shortlist 16 essays, and we could offer them scholarships such as these.
And these actually creates a great platform for the student to know something about the university, what they will be facing. As a Bangladeshi student, they'll have to face the visa interview. So this actually creates an opportunity for them to learn about the university and the courses, to know about their future, what they're going to do in the career, and etc. So they can relate everything, and they can reflect those ideas in those essays, and then we give away those scholarships. And on top of that, as I have mentioned before, we have British Chevening scholarships, British Marshall scholarships, and I was very delighted to share with all the agents, and Priya probably knows it very well, that we were giving away, we shared the Commonwealth funding this year, and there were many applicants, many students applied for that fund. So that was a great opportunity for Bangladeshi students to apply for such scholarship, and we have some winners from Bangladesh as well.
That's great. Yeah, I think a very prestigious scholarship. And one more thing is that you guys have a staggering alumni discount. It's at 25%. So if you're undergraduate,
yeah, that's actually a great opportunity. So anyone who is a current student, normally what we do, we give them 15% waiver. It's a sort of like loyalty discount to your current students. Whoever are alumni, we give them like 15% off if they're progressing to the further studies. But due to the corona, I know that many people are being hit by it, and especially parents are struggling to pay the tuition fees for their students. So what we did exceptionally last year, and this year we continued doing it, we are giving a 25% waiver to our current students who are progressing onto the main further courses.
That is a staggering amount.
Yeah, it is. It's massive.
And I would like to also add that when we're talking about tuition fees, so a university which is ranked 21st in the UK, I still remember that when I paid my tuition fees back in 2016, it was 13.5. So now in 2021, sorry, now in 2021, it's still 13,500.
That is the money of the parents. So yeah.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes, the teaching fee is actually very lenient. Yes. So the next big thing that all the students are actually worried about is, when is the application deadline? When do they have to drop their?
So for September, as soon as they can, because we are it's June, right? So we have hardly a month to make a new application, because you know that the procedures after that, they need to meet all the conditions, so make the convert the offer to unconditional, and then they need to have a proper plan how to work with their funds, and they will have other tasks to do, let's say the medical and the visa task and etc. So practically speaking, June 30th of June will be should be the deadline. But if there are applications coming even after the deadline, we can accept those exceptionally. But as I mentioned, it is highly recommended, if someone is willing to apply for September, they should do it as soon as possible. And for application, it's not difficult. All they have to do, they need to have their academic certificates and their transcript in their hand, their passport, and a piece of SOP, and a CV. If the person is in some sort of employment, a job reference letter. That's all. It's nothing. Yeah, it's easy to get those in your possession.
And also speaking from personal experience, I know that once all the UV team is very prompt to replying, they're very prompt with their offering the conditional letter as well. So the students, I believe that it takes around 2 weeks for them to get an offer letter.
Maximum. That will be the maximum.
Yes. Okay,
That's a good turnaround
they are
time.
Yes. So how have you guys set any kind of CAS deadline yet, or this is the time that the student?
Yeah. So the latest date for requesting CAS would be, just hold on a second, I'll find it out.
Yeah. So while Mr. Ovi finds that out, the CAS deadlines. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah. So mostly students they're nervous about since the pandemic has been going on, and UK, as we know, that they're softening their restrictions now. But if there is any case and there are restrictions, more restrictions provided, how late can the students enter the United Kingdom, and then they can join their classes if they miss out their classes?
If you have been following the session from the very beginning, so problem now is the problem that we had before. I'm sorry, there seems to be a bit of a technical difficulty. Can you just bear with me for a second, please?
Yes.
Sure.
So
I think we have to continue anyways, because someone is honking at our just in front of
That's
us.
fine,
Now it's all good. So yeah, what I was talking about is that he's like,
someone is having road rage in Bangladesh.
yeah.
That's fine. So Chelsea, please continue. It's fine.
Yeah. So to sum it up, since we are almost near the end. So we are actually inviting students to join the classes. We are going to prep you for the English test, and you are getting free classes for English classes as well, so that we are actually making an attempt to help you to be experienced and to have the knowledge and to sit for the test. And since they're offering a free internal test, that is also going to be held for one time only. So this time, for this September 2021, the UWE English test is going to be taken only one time. So you have only one opportunity to pass the test and secure your marks. So this is why we are providing free classes. So do seize the opportunity, come to the classes, join us. We are there to help you. And as you can see that both of them, all the UE team is very much helpful, and they're very prompt to reply.
So before we end, I'd just like to come up with the dates that were requested. So the last date for CAS issuing a CAS would be 31st of August 2021. And the latest date of entry and the last date of entry into the UK will be the 15th of September. So if you are a student who holds a conditional or an unconditional offer, and if you are a student who is just going to make an application, you need to understand that you need to make your application right now. You need to go on with your okay. So just 2 more minutes. So if you are looking forward to getting your offer unconditional, you need to sit for the English test. Of course, the employees at Student Connect, Priya herself, she's looking after this, so you can get all the assistance that you want from her. I incredibly apologize for what is going on. What I've heard is that it's an alarm from the office next door. So it's okay. It's not a fire alarm. It's just Bangladeshi alarms are different. So yeah. Those are the dates. Of course, we will follow this session up with another live session, hopefully very soon.
Yeah, so I have a student, and the student has already applied. Student has already dropped the application, and they have received a UWEID that we call it, the UEID that we call it. So now, does the student need to wait for a conditional offer before?
So it is highly recommended that students get a conditional offer first, and then they sit for the test, because if the student doesn't meet the entry requirements, there might be a possibility that their application might get rejected. So it's best for you to wait even if you have to wait for 2 weeks, because after those 2 weeks, for you to get the conditional offer will take just 1 week. So we still have time. It's not that we're completely out of time, but we have to rush. So yeah.
Yeah, great. September. You mentioned something about the latest enrollment date is 15th of September. Is
So
that? I mean, I don't know how
the latest the latest enrollment date will be the 24th of September. Pardon. So before I mentioned the wrong date, sorry. The alarm was
Including quarantine.
Including the quarantine.
Quarantine period.
Yeah.
So if the student must enter the UK before 24th of September.
24th. We got you. We'll prepare that. I believe the UK is getting a lot better than what it was, and I think a lot of people have been vaccinated. And I believe as we move, we have had confirmation that the 21st of June, most likely all the lockdowns will be lifted. And I'm positive that if you are an international student, you will be considered a resident here. So hopefully you will be able to get the vaccine dose if you have not already got it in your home country. And I think that is brilliant. It's free, obviously. You can access healthcare in the UK because you have paid immigration health surcharge. I'm quite. It's been a great session. I mean, we are right now a minute away from allocated time for the live session. So I think for concluding remarks, I would recommend definitely UW Bristol. We have 3 former alumnus of UWE Bristol here, and who are the better ambassadors than you 3 people for the university? And I feel like, I mean, you all are in great careers, I suppose, and you're all progressing. And of course, that was it gave you that bouncing ability for you to, you know, catapult from UW Bristol to where you are today. And I think you're all like living, breathing examples of what a successful a degree from UW Bristol could do and help and support. I'm really happy today to have you 3. You guys can have your concluding remarks, and then hopefully we shall wrap up this session today. Go on, you guys.
Ladies first, of course. Priya, do the honors, please.
So when I talk about TUI, it's obviously very close to my heart. And when we talk about a university, I think more than academics, everything comes into play. They have great campus. They have a great student support. They're providing free tests as well. And more than that, their ranking is good. And you get to be a part of a community rather than just going there to the university to study. So I think it's an experience rather than just going somewhere and just getting your degree. It is an experience that you should absolutely not miss. And so I would highly recommend to be an alumni as well, just like us.
Great.
Yeah, for the students, I would like to deliver a message to them. So you have all heard wonderful stories about TV, like all the fantastic facilities that the university has. So I'd like to invite them all to be a wonderful part of this community, and because it's more than a university. And truly, when I say it, I mean it. So I'm not just here to sell my university, but I'm talking about our proud alumnus, as Priya said, and Tausif will definitely, he has a wonderful story to share as well. So I'd like to tell them, experience this thing what you haven't in your life. So yeah, and you will not regret. Thank you very much.
To conclude from my end, I think it would be important to just reflect on the fact that if I could make it this far, I think anyone can. If we could make it this far, anyone can. It's just that you need to have the right motive, the right intention, and a particular goal which you need to strive for. So I think with this university, it's not just your academic life, it's more or less a journey. I've had my journey for the last 3 years, and this is the reason why I'm sitting in front of all of you. So yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time today. Please do get in touch with Student Connect, offices in Bangladesh, India, Nigeria, and the UK. The telephone number is at the bottom of the scroller. Thank you for your time today, Avi, Tausif for UW Bristol. Thank you so much for today's time. And Priya, I hope to catch you guys soon on another session. Wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nazari. Have a good day ahead. Bye.
Bye. Take care of you all. Take care. Bye-bye.